It's really hard to say goodbye. Probably the biggest pop star in the world right now has just ended his career after almost 15 years of being in the game. His final album has just recently come out to some high praise. If you couldn't figure out by now, I'm talking about The Weeknd. Or Abel. I've never been the biggest Weeknd fan in the world, but I would say that I have been a fan of him over the years. He genuinely has some amazing projects under his belt that still mean so much to me. And he also has some not so great projects. Overall, I would say that I'm a fan, but when it came to the rollout of his latest and I guess last ever album under the Weeknd moniker, I wasn't all that invested. I don't know what it was, but I just didn't care for the rollout and the fact that it was his last ever album under the Weeknd moniker. I of course tuned in when he dropped the singles for the album, but when it came to the release date for the album, I wasn't hyped. I of course was going to listen to it regardless, but I don't know, I just didn't have that spark in me that I thought I would have. I don't know if it was due to the kinda underwhelming singles or the long and overdue rollout, but I just couldn't care less. I remember waking up and seeing that Abel changed the album cover and that the album was almost an hour and a half long. I didn't have much hope for it. I remember that day very vividly because me and my friends skipped the last two subjects that we had that day because we just weren't bothered to stay in school, I guess. Look, it's our last year in the high school, we had to skip class at least once. We kinda walked around, went for a coffee and kinda just goofed around, I guess. I remember when I came home, I put on Hurry Up Tomorrow to see what the hype was all about as I was seeing people praising it on social media, so I just had to check it out. I put it on and I was listening to it thinking, yeah, this shit is pretty good. The album does kinda have that finality to it that an artist's last album has to have, but that finality really hit me at the last song. As I was walking to my gym, the last song was playing and I was just listening to the lyrics and the sound of the song and it really hit me. This really is The Weeknd's last album. I've always taken him for granted as this mainstream pop figure that was always in the headlines, in the overall cultural zeitgeist and on other people's songs. But now that Abel is retiring the Weeknd moniker, it's kinda sad to see. I'm honestly gonna miss seeing The Weeknd on people's songs and just his music under the name. I know it sounds like he has died or something, but this still feels kinda strange. The Weeknd's retirement has really got me thinking about that topic of taking artists, people, and just things in life for granted. I was sick not too long ago and all I was thinking about was how good life is when I'm healthy. I also got into an argument with someone that I held close to my heart recently and I was just missing talking to them while we were mad at each other. I really took them for granted until we got into that argument and I was thinking how grateful I should be for people like that. This also ties in with artists. We take these creatives as a given, like they will never disappear from our lives, which is totally unrealistic. They won't be here forever and we really should appreciate them while they are still here, creating art and products that we enjoy. Don't have this mindset of taking them for granted because for as long as you can remember they are here. Someday it will change and it's always a tragedy when it happens. I witnessed really cool and interesting people retire, disappear, or unfortunately die. It's sad to see, but it's also just the way life works, so please be happy for what you have, for the people around you, and for these artists that we have.
What do you hope your legacy is?
To be forgotten.
Do you think you'll be forgotten?
Because the memory, there's ego in memory, and the memories.
Even someone like Kanye, I have had my issues with him in recent years and I really don't like him right now. And I have been off listening to his music, but I'm still very grateful that I'm alive during this point of history where I have his music and can see him operating in real time. I pointed him out because he's the most extreme version of this that I could think of, so I hope that you get the point. Just be grateful, live in the moment, and give these people and artists their flowers while they are still here.